So one way to understand the healing of this being in the present, meaning a non-judgmental space that includes everything, is that these parts of us that we have alienated, that we've split off from because we think they're no good or they're wrong or they have to change and we're busy trying to do something about it, that when that feels this space of unconditional acceptance, it has no more basis to exist. It only exists because of rejection. So what I'm implying here, and maybe saying directly, is that this presence is a presence of unconditional love, of non-judgment. And that's what's healing about it. And people ask, people are saying about psychedelics, how could it be so healing for depression and anxiety and end of life anxieties and OCD? It's because it's bringing us to an awareness of this connectedness and this oneness and unconditional love that's at the root of all these problems.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, whenever there's a single thing that seems to have these
Yeah.
wide-ranging impacts, I always think of it as being like a nutrition, because it's like if you're not getting the nutrition that you need, you would, like if you're eating food, if you're lacking a nutrient like vitamin D,
Mm.
that could
Yeah.
manifest from everything from bone formation to how you move calcium through your body to your immune system. Like there's a lot of different symptoms that we could see that seemingly don't have a connection to each other until we discover that actually it's that I'm missing a key nutrient.
Oh, that's a
And
great way to think of it. Yeah.
yeah, and I think of the. So I want to backtrack a little bit just because you said quite a lot there. I think, and I think there's a number of uh, there's a lot of what you said that I think is that I want to make sure that we hit on.
Mm-hmm.
I heard you use the term like the this intending part of ourselves, this intending mind, tends to add things on. And also, you've talked about the process of uncovering, right? Or another way that I think of uncovering is it's like taking the layers that are there and subtracting them, subtracting them, subtracting them, bringing them
Mm.
down to some kind of key root space. And um, and you talked about the, upon uncovering, getting into a place where I might recognize that there was some of this key nutrient of unconditional love, attention that's
Yeah.
missing. Um, I don't know that I have a question from here, but I just wanted to make sure that we're kind of tracking everything for
Yeah.
moving forward. And I
So,
guess one thing that piqued my interest a little bit that you're talking about is you mentioned the Yamas and Niyamas. So I've looked at the Yamas and Niyamas, and I even have gotten like trainings in them where they're often presented as these kind of like ethical codes. And one of the things that I heard you say or seem to say is it sounded to me like you were saying the yamas and niyamas are a kind of practice at getting of doing this uncovering of getting to something
yeah.
root that
Yeah.
revolves around um, somewhere where love was absent. Did I read that right?
Yes, absolutely. So if they're regarded as a ethical code, then it's setting up one more idea of good and bad. So non-injury is good, injury is bad. And so I should learn to be non-injurious. I used to take the flies off my window by their wings and put them outside. And that's a good thing, but um, it becomes something to attain. So then there's effort and there's, oh, I'm disappointed because I was angry and I did injury to somebody because I yelled at somebody. And so it becomes it's dealt with in the realm of this intentional mind. and it just becomes internal battles. It doesn't, I don't think it leads anywhere except to inner struggle.
Hmm.
If it, that's true of anything, any spiritual understanding turns into some belief system about how to be, and it loses its spirituality. It loses its capacity to free us from trying to be this or that. And so, for
Yeah.
example, take non-lying. You can take that as some external thing. I should be honest with other people. I shouldn't lie. I shouldn't try to get some advantage by sneaking and not saying something or saying it what's not true. And then it becomes in this realm that I've just been speaking. But what if non-lying is simply being going inside and um, not lying to ourselves, not trying to pretend I'm a good person. Well, yeah, I'm a good person, but I'm a bad. I do things that are not so good. Pretending that I'm loving in this way, or put sort of really looking at the whole of ourselves and seeing what in psychology might be called our shadow, and owning the shadow, and letting sort of the part of me that maybe tells a fib or is dishonest, or wants to be, sort of feeling into that, and why am I wanting to be dishonest? Well, I'm insecure. I feel if I don't tell this lie, I won't get this, and I won't have what I need. So I'll with my partner, I'll just fudge and all. So, but if we feel into the truth of me who's honest and dishonest, and just explore and inquire into that, and not in a mental way, but in a feeling way, I believe that's what these yamas and niyamas about. Non-stealing, for example, the way I interpret non-stealing is not only about taking somebody else's property, but what is it like? Suppose in the moment I'm feeling depressed, and instead of going into and being with in a loving, accepting way my depression, so that part of me that I've been rejecting, I don't want to be depressed. What can I do about it? Beginning to feel into that, beginning to feel into the truth of the moment, and not trying to steal some other state of consciousness that doesn't belong to me. Does that make sense? So when
Yeah,
we
and
try to
I
steal, yeah.
I think just to hit the note that I think is the key note that you mentioned is there's a relief in, say, the example that you gave with feeling insecure. Like maybe I stole an idea, or you know, did one of these, and, observe something about myself, if you will, right? To put the spin on it that the translation has. That as I get into that, there's a relief in being like, oh, I can just be insecure if that's more true
Mm-hmm.
than these strategies that I have for covering it up.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And I think in that relief, um, there is a taste of what you're talking about when you talk about in the present moment. There's that taste of it's perfect as it is. It's okay as it is. It's
Yeah.
I am okay as I am, even in the ways that I may be dysfunctional